Young Money, man, they in the building.
600 boy, LA, man. LA Capone, man. Get it to him, man. Also two boys, man. Team
number 9, man. Number 9, shooter, you hear me?
Hey, bitch, little bitch. Yeah. What the fuck is wrong with you? Hey, I am Brick Squad. Brick Squad, boy. What the fuck is you talking about, boy?
You have to be willing to die or go to jail for 100 years if that's the lane that you're stepping in. You have to understand that whether you're 15, 16, you got to think like a man. You know what I'm saying?
So don't be in it. Oh, you're not? Why does everybody say you're only 16 years old?
They say what they want to say.
How old
How old are you?
300.
The story of Wooski, STL/EBT. Around 2009 and 2010, Wooski lived with his brother Big Mike in Parkway Gardens, Wick City/O Block. Wooski was already a GD at the time, and unlike Big Mike, Wooski continued to be a GD. Wooski's older brother, Fella, whom he did not know very well, was killed by GDs. This was one of the reasons why Big Mike, who had a better relationship with Fella than with Wooski, chose to become a BD. Big Mike was a loved member in Wick City. However, he still talked to Wooski from time to time, despite the fact that Wooski chose another path and became GD. Wooski started hanging with E-Block and started repping STL/EBT. He did not care what anyone thought of it. However, Wooski had to stay out of the way. At the time, only the older guys from Wick City and STL/EBT shot at each other. But people from Wick City had heard that Big Mike's little brother was STL/EBT. They could not touch him, but they forbade all the shorties from hanging out with him. Around 2010, Wooski started hanging out with FBG Duck and Tuka and started shooting at TYMB. At the time, Wick City and TYMB were cool with each other. Wooski was still living in Parkway Gardens when he hung out with Duck and Tuka. C-Murda and Big Mike were the people who made sure nobody jumped Wooski at the time. C-Murda also prevented the older guys from hurting Duck. This is because Duck, Wooski and Tuka always used to come to Wick City to fight after problems with Wick City shorties at school earlier in the day. At the time, it was lame for an older guy to kill a 14 to 15-year-old boy. The shorties' beef was their beef. When Wooski, Tuka and other STL members came to Wick City more frequently, the older ones started handing out guns to the younger Wick City members. That's actually how Chief Keef, D-Roy and King Bun jumped off the porch. Wooski had already started using weapons and had fired at TYMB several times. However, never against Wick City because of his brother. Wooski came to Wick City with some younger STL members, though this time with guns. Nothing major happened except minor fights before Wooski and his friends left. It was not until the next time things really started to blow up. Instead of Wooski coming to Wick City with shorties, he came with older STL members who actually wanted to kill. He came with people like C-Ball and Soicy. It all ended in a big fight, but this time Wooski pulled out his gun and shot Reezy, Wick City, to death. Keep in mind, Wooski was only 12 to 13 at the time.
Now that we've helped people customize and save with Liberty Mutual, we can finally do some beach reading.
The only way you beat 6-month aged cheddar toasted on the shell of a chalupa.
Now Wooski really had to move out of Parkway Gardens. Now even his blood brother could not protect him from being killed. Everyone in Wick City wanted to kill him. The older guys in STL took him in and let him know they had his back. Wooski came back blowing at Wick City several times after that. Wick City wanted Wooski bad after killing Reezy. Reezy was a loved and well-respected member. After Wooski popped Reezy, the war really started between Wick City and STL. Now it was about kill on sight. No passes. Before, the STL people could come to Wick City without being shot but just fighting and vice versa. Now it was shoot to kill, no fighting. However, they often fought anyway, mostly outside of school or at school. Although Wooski was STL and had killed one from the Wick, back then Wooski actually showed respect when OD died. Many wonder why Wooski and King Von are going at each other all the time and have been doing that for a long time. To begin with, Wooski and King Von have ended up in a few shootouts with each other. Wooski and Jakira shot once at Von and T-Roy, Lil Scott and Von shot at Wooski, Tyquin and Jakira another time for example. Because O-Block and STL are so close, this was common. One thing you have to be clear about is that many of the members went to school together. Many of the parents from the different sides know each other. Von hated Wooski because he killed both Reezy and Patoon who Von was close to. Von wanted Wooski bad. But at the time around 2011, Wooski still viewed Von as irrelevant. It was not until King Von stepped out of a gangway and caught Wooski's cousin Modell and put multiple